Could it be the reason so many successful women feel financially trapped isn't because they don't make enough, but because their nervous system won't let them feel safe with money? They have six-figure incomes, beautiful homes, and impressive careers, yet behind closed doors, they're lying awake at night, wondering if it's all going to disappear tomorrow. Today's conversation reveals what most money experts never talk about, and the one internal shift that quietly determines whether wealth grows or slips through your fingers. And by the end, you'll know exactly what that shift is. Hi, and welcome to the You World Order Showcase podcast, where we feature life health, transformational coaches, and spiritual entrepreneurs stepping up to be the change they seek in the world. I'm your host, Jill Hart, the coach's alchemist, on a mission to empower life, health, and transformational coaches and spiritual entrepreneurs to amplify their voice, monetize their mission, and get visible. If you're ready to start attracting premium clients without chasing algorithms or hunting people down like a banshee on a mission, head over to thecoachesalchemist.com and schedule your free client acquisition audit. It's the first step to building a business where your clients seek you out rather than you having to hunt them down. Today, we are talking with Victoria Davitashvili. Oh, I got it. Vicki is a wealth mentorship and financial strategist who helps high achieving women heal their relationships with money so they can build true financial freedom. With over 25 years in financial services, she brings deep expertise in investing, debt elimination, and wealth strategy paired with a grounded spiritual approach that treats money as an energetic, practical, as both a practical tool and an energetic relationship. After a life-altering health crisis forced her to re-examine everything, Vicki realized that many accomplished women don't actually feel safe with money, even when they earn a lot. Through her work and her community, Wealthy and Unstoppable over on School, she guides women to move from scarcity and stress into clarity, confidence, and aligned abundance. Welcome to the show, Vicki. I am so excited to have this conversation with you.
Oh, thank you. And I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
So let me ask you the big question, which is what's the most significant thing, in your opinion, as individuals we can do to make an impact on how the world is going?
Well, the reason I got into Wealthy and Unstoppable and why I created it is because we are going through a seismic shift as a society.
Mm.
There is a huge wealth transfer underway where women are going to inherit 30 trillion with a T, trillion dollars in wealth in the next 4 years by 2030. And this is
Wow.
research that has been cited by Cerulli, by a lot of the reputable resources. And what's interesting is that women will, for the first time in history, have be at the helm of more assets than men. And yet, if you take a look at our upbringing, what we've been taught about money, the way that we've been taught to relate to money, the way that no one ever taught us about money, how are we going to be the stewards of $30 trillion in the future? How are we going to do that? Right? And so I am here on this big mission of really wanting to bring to light both the things that money is energy, number one, and you cannot hold and expand energy unless you energetically, as a vessel, are ready for that. It's like a light bulb. And if the light bulb can't hold any more than 60 watts, it's gonna burst. So if you as a woman inherit all that money, but you're not able to manage and multiply that money or steward that money, it's gonna slip away. But
Just
two,
like lottery women winners.
just like exactly, I was just thinking of that. 75% of lottery winners lose everything and they're in worse shape than before they had, like before the winnings.
Mhm.
But two, you have to have the financial literacy and the acumen so that if you are speaking to a financial advisor, that financial advisor doesn't take advantage of you as a woman, right? And so that you can run circles around the financial advisor and ask the informed and the smart questions. And so I'm on this mission of creating female financial badasses where you can both energetically, but also have the know-how to steward the money. Because, ladies, we are about to inherit a lot. And so let's be ready for
Yeah. I'm
it.
sitting here going, mm-hmm. And it's not everybody that you're speaking to. It's people who are in a certain group, and whether you're entrepreneurs or you're doing other things. Maybe you have a career and you're making all the money. Having wealth is different than being a wage earner or even a an entrepreneur. Taxes and is one big thing that people just don't even have any clue about. The process of transferring wealth from one generation to the next is another thing people don't talk about. We're never educated on. And if your parents are wealthy and do not have a trust, oh my God, you're just asking for disaster to happen. And if you have, as a parent, a lot of wealth that you're thinking you're moving into your children's future, you too need a trust. I mean, there are tools that the wealthy men predominantly use to protect these assets from generation to generation that we are never taught about ever as women. It's just like you're certainly not going to hear about it in school, but um, you're talking about trillions of dollars that will get stolen from you if you aren't careful. Lottery winners look at all that money coming at them and think, oh, I'll never have to work again a day in my life. But they don't think about, how am I going to make this money grow? You can't just stick it in the bank. I'm sorry, I'm very passionate about this.
No, I love it. And to answer your question, the why or what's the big takeaway? Here's the big takeaway. Abundance creates more abundance. The more abundant you are, the more abundance you create. And so I do have a corporate job. And even in my day job, what I say is that the more abundant I am, the more self-empowered, self-embodied I am, the more I'm willing to take that and to share it and to pass it down to the younger generation of women that are coming up. Like in my day job, I'm even a co-chair of this organization for women at work. Why? Because I want women to rise because when one boat rises, we all rise together. Right. And
Yeah.
so the same thing with abundance. And this goes for men too. Like, I don't want to exclude men, but I've been leaning into women because A, I understand them. I understand that experience. It's my lived experience.
Mhm.
Um, and B, it's just something that I naturally gravitated to because I fell into this because women who were six-plus figure income earners were reaching out to me and saying, Vicki, there is a huge disconnect in my head. I make over 100,000, 150,000 a year. I am in my early 40s. I know I don't nearly have enough in savings. I'm drowning in debt. I'm uber educated and yet I don't have enough to make my ends meet. Help me understand what is happening. And what I realized is that this is not a math problem. This is not about these women not knowing how to add and subtract the top line and the bottom line. It goes much deeper than that. There's energetics, patterns from our childhood, from growing up, what we heard, the beliefs that we formed around money. But then there's also a very true limitation in knowing how do you open a brokerage account? What are the different investment classes that exist? What's the difference between an exchange traded fund or a mutual fund? Why is one perhaps better than the other? How do you make money work for you while you sleep? Through dividend income, where money literally gets deposited to you because you took your money out of your bank account, you took it out of cash, and you bought a pretty safe investment. And now that investment is paying you. And that is how the wealthy are making money in their sleep. And I want to end the story that we have to work hard for our money because no, we don't. Money literally grows on trees, literally grows on trees. And so when you can embody that energy of abundance and you start to realize that it is this abundant and it can be this easy, it becomes life altering.
It really does. And we look at these numbers and we think, "Oh, they're so big." Relatively speaking, making $150,000 a year is not that much relative to the cost of things. And I think as the economies expand and the cost of things also, inflation goes with it, that we seem to think that we're going to be immune to this stuff, and we keep trying to scale up our lifestyle without realizing that our 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 actual earnings are decreasing, and we need to, if you want to invest long term and if you want to grow wealth, you need to pick a lane and stay in it. In terms of that, I mean, live within your means, below your means, at least slightly below your means. So you have money to save and money to invest. And those two pieces are really important. And I'm not talking about 401k investing, though. Yeah, if that's all you got, do that, max that out. Because if you're working for a company that matches it, it can be good, but don't just blindly stick your money in there. Manage that 401k. Look at what your options are. How do you feel safe? Talk to the investing investment company that's behind it. And a lot of people don't even realize that you can do stuff with your 401k.
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge topic all unto itself. But this is where financial literacy comes in, right?
Yeah.
So, financial literacy, and in the world of AI, this becomes actually really simple. And I'll give your listeners something super practical, something
Mhm.
I personally did. So, I'm going to vouch for it. So, what happens with the 401k is, you put money in and then you have an employer match. So if you put in, a lot of times it's like 3 or 4%. So if you put 3 or 4% of your money into a 401k, there are two benefits to that. One is it comes out before, so it's pre-tax dollars, right? So your net paycheck actually can be bigger because you have now reduced your tax burden, right? How much you're being taxed on your wages. So
Mhm.
that's one benefit of that. Two, you always want to know and understand what your employer matches, right? And so, because that's free money. Like you put in $100 and your employer puts in $100. Oh my God, you've now doubled the dollars that you're putting in. But the
Yeah.
biggest mistake I see for the people who are contributing into their 401ks is they never ever take a look at what they're invested in. And so they will invest into something that earns like 3, 4% a year, whereas our truflation number, not the consumer price index, not what you hear on the news, that is not the real cost of inflation. It is not 2% and it is not 3%. Because I assure you, the moment you walk into a grocery store, you're paying at least double from what you were paying a couple of years ago. So your dollar,
If not last week.
okay? Yeah. So I'm just trying to be generous here. So what is happening is your cost of living is going up. Let's just easy math, 10%. Your money is earning 4%. You have a 6% gap. What you should be doing is if your cost of living is going up 10%, you want your money outpacing that 10%, right? You want it earning 16, 20% because you cannot grow your income as fast as the cost of living right now. I can, this might be bold, but the only way for you to get out of the hamster wheel is to out invest your money, meaning your income to be performing, your investment to be performing that much better faster than your cost of living. And that's the only way to out earn your money right now. You will not decrease your spend into wealth right now. Meaning, if you stop buying that cup of coffee every single day, it is not going to save you. I'm sorry. You need to invest your dollars in a way that they grow faster than your cost of living. And so here's the very practical application of what you can do. Take everything, like go into your portfolio, take a look at, and it'll have like 10 or 12 different mutual funds that you can invest into. Literally copy the data, copy the name of the fund, and then it's 30-day, 1 year, 5 year, 10-year performance. That's always available in your 401k. Copy that, paste it, put it into an AI that you trust. It can be Gemini, it can be Chat, it could be Grok, whatever you feel comfortable with, and say to it, act like a financial advisor with 20 years of experience. Based on these results, for the mutual funds that are available in my 401k account, I am 30 years old. I am, I have a high risk of tolerance. I have low risk of tolerance. I want something that is going to grow at more than 10% a year. Help me rebalance my portfolio in such a way that it grows at least 10% or more every single year based on this data. And literally, like magic, the AI is going to spit back out your portfolio balance and it's going to say, okay, put 40% into this type of fund, 30% into this, 20% and it gives you a diversified portfolio based on exactly what is within your account and available to you. Take it, do as it says, and leave it alone. Do you know whose portfolio grows the best based on some studies that they have done by Fidelity and other financial services companies?
No, who?
Dead people. I kid you not. There
I
is
believe it because they don't mess with it. They said it and forget it.
forget it, and you forget your password for 30 years and you just let it sit there and compound in something quality, you'll be a multimillionaire. And so that's what I want you to do is don't just very passively be like, oh, the company's got my back. No, you got to have your own back, right? And in the world of AI, literally figure out what that right portfolio feels, personalized to you, and then just go and do it. I did it, and I went from a rate of return of 2% to a rate of return of 19%.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And so many people, because your employer's not going to tell you about it. Or if they do, it's buried in like a big stack of papers that no one ever reads, there to protect you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And you don't have to go in there and change it every 15,
No,
20 days.
no.
Just let it ride. But do go back and check it at the end of the year. Let it
Yep.
ride for a year and make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. And if not, do the process again. But don't just like I hesitate to tell people that you can trust AI because AI does come
Yeah.
up with its own ideas sometimes.
Yes,
And
it does.
it's
Mhm.
not like this is not financial advice. Please don't take this as you will definitely, if you do this, make 10% a year or even make what AI says you're going to make. but it's a good starting place. It's better than nothing. But keep an eye on it. And if it looks like it's like a hallucination from your AI, then you're at least checking in. Don't just like be a dead person and hope for the best, because things change. Things change kind of quickly in the financial world, and things go up and things go down. And if you're watching it and panicking on the ups and downs, it's better to do it maybe 12 times a year and know that you're only going to make changes once a year. But look at the beginning and the end, not the ups and downs that we go through. Like last year was so interesting to me because it looked like the market sucked most of the year, but it really went up like, I don't know, was it 30% or something?
Phenomenal year. The S&P 500 went up by like 18 or 19, 17 or 18%.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
yeah,
a phenomenal year. That's a really
yeah.
good year.
It was
And
a really good year. But
yeah,
if you look at the chart, it's like,
well, so do you know when you get nervous about the chart? You get nervous about the chart when your nervous system is dysregulated, number
mhm,
one. And two, when again, energy of
mhm,
money. And two, when you don't understand the dynamics of the
mhm,
market. That's why
yeah,
financial literacy is so incredibly important. For example, people who invested in NVIDIA had conviction that AI was going to be a really big thing. And if
yeah.
they didn't sell it, like they're all multimillionaires right now, right? Why? Because they didn't care whether, I mean, in 2022, like the market dropped, right? And if your nervous system is dysregulated and you have an anxious attachment style with money, because we all
Mhm,
have a relationship with money, that relationship with money is rooted back to our childhood. And just
mhm,
like, the relationship styles, you could be avoidant, you could be anxious, or you could be secure. The exact same dynamic like is comes through with money. So if you're anxious attached, you're somebody who's like literally checking their spreadsheet, checking their account, et cetera, every single day. And if it goes down a dollar, you start panicking. Versus somebody who's avoidant, you get bills in the mail, you don't even open them. Why? It's not because you don't have enough money in your account. It's because you're afraid that that money is going to escape and run away from you. And of course, you being such an amazing manifester and the universe being like a yes, like, oh, yes, you think it's going to disappear? Okay, yes, it's going to disappear. It always says yes, right? And so it will manifest the disappearance of your money. Why? Because your nervous system is vibrating, saying, oh my God, it's going to go away, or I'm not going to look at it because I'm scared. That's that avoidance, right? Versus if you're safe and secure and it's 2022 and Nvidia is trading at like 60, $70, and you're like, no, I have conviction that this AI thing is going to be really, really big. You double down and you take all the money that you can, 100, $500, and you go and you buy extra shares. And boy, would you be dancing now if you had. And that's where that regulation, while also understanding the market dynamics, is so
mhm.
incredibly important. It's not just about energy of money and it's not just about financial literacy. You need to have both. And that's why it's so incredibly powerful.
Yeah. And you need to have community because it's really
Mm.
hard to do something like this out there by yourself or with just your spouse. And, money arguments happen and investment things when you're depending on somebody else who really isn't all that cognizant about financial things either. Those money arguments can get out of hand quickly unless you have a community and a space where you can have honest conversations about what's happening. And that is where your community comes into play. You guys talk about all kinds of things in there. Share with us.
Yeah, so can I actually, I was doing such a happy dance. And so I'll just tell you. So I created the Wealthy and Unstoppable Circle.
Mhm.
This all came about 6 or like 8 months ago, I had a girlfriend who reached out to me and she was like, Vicki, it was literally that person. She's like, I'm making 150,000. I'm educated. I have an amazing job, yet I am like drowning in debt. I don't know how I'm going to make ends meet. I don't know why I am in the situation that I am.
Hmm?
So, it was really interesting. And then she said to me something that really struck me. And she goes, Vicki, what stock should I buy? What stock should I buy so that I get out of this situation? And I was like, I think you have nervous system dysregulation when it comes to money because you're like super avoidant and super anxious. You don't want to look at your money situation. But two, you are also super intimidated by money. Like she wouldn't open up a brokerage account. She was like refusing to open up a brokerage account, right? So, because she was like, I don't know. She's like, well, what do I buy? Like, even if I open up a brokerage account, what do I buy? What's an ETF? What's a mutual fund? What do you? It's like I was speaking like a foreign language to her. So out of that, I created this community, and in the community, what I want to create is number one is we everything starts with safety. You're gonna manifest the life of your dreams at the speed of safety, whether it's in your business, in your career, with your money, because it's all energy. It's all energy. So if you want to bring more money, more light into your vessel, you have to feel safe. So everything I do in that community comes back to how do we go back to regulating our nervous system with money? So I teach, tips and tricks to help you feel safe, to help place awareness, because everything starts with awareness of where do your money stories stem from? And what might your money stories be? For example, we as women don't feel comfortable asking people for help, especially high achieving women. Because what have we done our entire lives? We were praised for getting really great grades, for getting good grades. We were praised for being really good girls, never giving our parents any problems. I was that child. My mom always said, oh my God, you are my angel. You never give me any problems. So, what's my identity? My identity is I'm an angel. I don't ask tough questions. I don't push back. I just do as I'm told. And for this, I will be rewarded, right? So, and same thing was happening in my marriage. I wouldn't ask my husband for help. Why? Because I'm the sweet wife, right? So, there are stories that we create. And I want to place awareness on these stories and how they're unique, especially to our experience as women, as mothers, as daughters, as wives, right? So we talk about safety. We talk about the energy of money and how do you expand your wealth? Because I kind of said, you're like a light bulb. And if your light bulb is built for 60 watts, but you send down electricity of 180 watts, you're gonna implode. You're gonna explode, right? So, how do you build an energetic vessel? I'll give you a simple, simple practice. You can expand your vessel, expand your ability to receive simply by receiving compliments. Jill, you're such a gracious host. You're such a beautiful and gorgeous human being. I absolutely love and look forward to your daily notes in your community. And I always delight at the way that you engage with every single community member. And we flood each other with these types of compliments. And if these compliments feel icky, that means your vessel is having a hard time receiving. If these compliments are like, this is so fun and I love it, then that means that you have a vessel that can receive. And guess what? When your vessel is open to receive, it's going to receive all sorts of energy. Like you're trying to manifest more money, but your relationships are going to get better. You're going to feel more fun, right? So we talk about how do you expand your vessel to receive more, but then we also talk about money literacy, right? What's happening in the financial markets when the Fed lowers interest rates? What does that mean to you? Oh, did you know that your rate of inflation is going to go up? So, oh, by the way, eggs are going to be more expensive, but so are stocks. So the sooner you invest, the more money you're going to make in the market, right? And that's the true implication here, right? And really giving people the insights and the understanding. And I know I'm giving you a super long answer, but you asked me about community and it's my passion. So I got to tell you something super quick.
I I love it. And I am part of your community, and you do have a thread in there directly about um, complimenting your members. And
Yeah.
it helps people to get some practice at hearing a compliment. I think it's like a 3 minute
Yeah.
exercise where you just compliment them, and you can listen to it every day. I did that for a while. It was really empowering. And when we talk about wealth, I also want to point out that wealth isn't always money. Wealth is abundance, and it comes in a lot of different ways at you. So when you start opening up your energetic container, other things will happen for you. You'll find discounts on stuff. You'll get money randomly, will come from different places. You'll get gifts. And gifts can come in a lot of different flavors and in unexpected ways. And it's just like more opportunity for the energy to flow, because energy does flow. And when you want to like hold on to your money so tightly and don't want to like let it go anywhere, you're damming up the energy flow and you're not allowing it to move through. And sometimes it's a trickle, but sometimes, the big floods happen. Sometimes it slows down, but you've got to keep the other side open. It's got to just pass through. Otherwise, it will dry up.
That's exactly right. That is exactly spot on, right? And even if you think about, because words are spells, right? And what do we call what do we call money? We call it currency. It comes from the word current. What's current? It's energy. And what is energy? Energy is constantly moving, constant. It's constantly moving. That's why we're constantly changing, shaping, shifting, evolving, right? And it's beautiful and it's wonderful. And we're always becoming. We never really arrive anywhere, right? And so that's exactly spot on. And this week I was doing a really big happy dance inside. So I have like my free membership and then I have my VIP tier. So my VIP tier, they literally all have me on speed dial. It is so funny because they all text me. Like somebody was like, I haven't seen anybody in the WhatsApp group. Like, what is going on? I'm like, they're all texting me separately. Like, this is what's going on. And it's fun because I love it. And I adore everybody who's in there. So I had two awesome stories this week. One, I had this one woman who reached out to me and she said, Vicki, I finally opened up a Chase bank account because I plan to open up a brokerage account and I plan to start investing. Are you going to sit with me and help me? I'm like, 100%. Let's do this. Let's do this. It took us 8 months to get her to this point, but she's there, right? Another woman, again, super educated, super accomplished, so smart. Like I look at her and I'm like, oh my God, she's like amazing. She's a total badass. She hasn't looked at her numbers since COVID, not at how her business is performing, not how her credit cards are like why? Because she was in terrified fear of money. And she basically said to her husband, like, I relinquish all control about money. You manage it all, and I will just be here to support you. Right. And so he had been managing it. And I was like, okay, you have an avoidance. You're like an avoidance energy. Like, let's look underneath that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Fast forward, fast forward. When are you going to have a money date? I'm like, you got to start having money dates. Money dates is when you check in. And basically, all you do is you just like put your hand on your heart. So if you're like super scared about like what might be happening with your money, your credit card bill is 3 times higher than you'd like, you're freaking out, market is down. I don't care. I don't care. Hand on the heart. You open up your account and you just say, it's just information. I'm gathering information. It's neutral. Money is totally neutral. So I'm just gathering information. That's all I'm doing. That's it. Nice and calmly, right? And have that money date. Okay. Wow, that credit card bill is $10,000. Hmm. Instead of, oh my God, it's $10,000. And what do I, right? It's all about your energy around that. So finally, she got up the courage to have the money date. She was devastated, then not devastated, then devastated, then non devastated. But I'm so proud of her because she finally faced her greatest fear. She opened up the accounts. She looked at the accounts. She at least now knows what's happening with the accounts. She had a money date with her husband. And now that she's taking that breath and she's freaking out about the numbers, I'm like, now let's make the math math. Let's make the math work. And how might we get creative about what you need to do financially? That's where the financial literacy comes in, right? Because you could be super creative with finance. And so I'm doing such a happy dance because we're facing our greatest fears as women, right? But we're doing it. We're doing it in communion, in community, together. We're holding up each other. We're holding space for one another. And everyone's like, oh my God, I'm in just the baddest shape. We commiserate together, right? And we're like, that's it, just go for it, right? And we support one another. We don't judge each other, right? And we create all this love and support together. And so this feels really meaningful to me. It's important to me. And I want to touch as many lives as I possibly humanly can with this message.
I love it. And I really do love your community. It's a very special space, and it's it allows us to just show up as we are with all of our garbage, because we all have garbage.
Yeah.
And I think the garbage that we bring around money or with money, even if we have a lot of money, I mean, there are people that have quite a bit of money, but they're still like their mind is like, tomorrow it's all gonna disappear. I-
That's that scarcity. That's that scarcity, right? Scarcity comes from usually your childhood and the inconsistency that you may have experienced with money, right? I
Mhm,
have a lot of clients where it was feast or famine.
mhm.
Right? There was a divorce, and the divorce created a story around money, the inconsistency. So a lot of times that scarcity does come from, our childhood and the things that have happened in our childhood or the stories that we heard in our childhood. Like I have a client where she grew up in a super, super wealthy household, and yet like they would spend all this money on going out, and yet, if she needed to buy a dress, they would be like, no, borrow your best friend's dress. And so there was this inconsistency in the child's mind when she was a kid, like, wait a minute, I thought we had money, but we don't have money. And you're making me like be so embarrassed. Like, I have to beg and borrow somebody else's dress. Like, why can't you buy me a dress? So these types of inconsistencies create horrible scarcity in our bodies. And the body keeps the score. So that's why you have to see those stories so that you can transmute those stories.
And so many of us don't even recognize that we have those stories.
Mm.
Especially people that grew up in, having enough.
Mhm.
there are those sorts of stories that we were all told, and we all have our, nobody gets through childhood without being traumatized. Lots
Mhm.
of kids, and I traumatized them all.
Mhm.
I own it. Um, I love them dearly, but it's just like, you're young when you have kids. It wasn't my excuse with my last three, but because I was old when I had them, I should have known better. I did do a better job with them. Um, but there's no shame in it. Is I guess what I'm trying to say is, we all have these stories that we bring along, and you may think you're doing just fine, and you may be in denial about how fine you're doing. Come join us. You don't have to pretend in there. It's just like, yep, we're all there. We're with you. We gotcha. So, where can people find you?
So, you can find me in my school community. So, if you're a member of school, come to Wealthy and Unstoppable Circle. You will find Wealthy and Unstoppable. I would love to have you join us. So, we have three different tiers, and my genuine mission is such that if you join the free tier and you're just in there, you're still getting like enormous value. Like I don't skimp, I don't hold back. I share and I give it my all because to me, it's less about, I mean, this is going to be ironic, but it's less about money. It's more about impact that I get to
Mhm.
create in this world. So, join us. It's free, right? And then if you'd like, we also have a book club. I make it so affordable. It's $27 a month. Right now, we're reading Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. It is so brilliant. Every single day, I'm like mind blown. I take photographs, I share some of the things that really strike me in the community, but obviously with the book club we go a lot deeper and we study and we really acknowledge and we go deeper. So we have the book club. So if you're like a bookworm and you want just community around reading books together, then join the book club. That's fine. We also have the VIP level. Again, I make it so affordable at $47 a month because I want as many people getting access to this type of community and this type of work, so that we can do it together. So in the circle, we go deeper. So we do mindset, we do energetics, we also do financial literacy, learning about the different asset classes, learning about dividend strategies, learning about, crypto and, what's happening in the marketplace 2026. I mean, we're having like this tremendous liquidity event, like macroeconomics. What is the impact to your bottom line, right? Like, what's it going to mean to your wallet? What's it going to mean to your paycheck? But what's it also going to mean if you're an investor in the marketplace, right? So we go deep and we do it together and, join at whatever level feels aligned and right to you. Because no matter what level you're at, you're going to be home, you're going to be held, you're going to be, you're going to belong, and you're going to learn and expand because we're here as humans to expand our vessels, to have these expansive experiences. And if I can create one more abundant female financial badass who then starts taking her money and donating it to causes and creates a business and then creates jobs. I mean, like, think of all the amazing ripple effects we get to create all together. And that's what I want. And I don't care what level you join us at, I just want you there.
I love that. Thank you so much for joining us, Vicki. This has been great. One of my
Thanks
favorite
for having
topics. You can learn more about Vicki and join her community by going to school.com wealthy-unstoppable-7759 coaches.com/about. And we will put that link in the show notes of this episode. Thank you for joining us today. If you're ready to amplify your voice, monetize your mission, and start attracting premium clients, your next step is to head over to thecoachesalchemist.com and schedule your free client acquisition audit. Join us for our next episode as we share what others are doing to raise the global frequency. And remember, change begins with you. You have all the power to change the world. Start today and get visible.